And we're live with the legendary Chris Gronkowski. What's going on, brother? How are you?
Hey, yeah. What's up, guys?
Doing well, man. Doing well. How's everything going for you in Texas?
Man, I don't know. There's kind of some crazy talks about everything shutting down again. The gyms might close again. So, man, that just equals problems. But doing what we got to do over here. I haven't been in the gym in a while. Just had my third baby boy. So
congrats.
I've been super cautious about it just because of the baby and the pregnancy situation.
Right. How's your wife doing? She's doing all right?
Yeah, she's killing it, man. She's feeling good and crushed it, man. Had the third baby, just kept on working. She was working the day we had the baby.
Wow.
We're actually I told her she had to get in the car because she didn't want to go to the hospital. She was trying to put an order more boxes to make sure her products were getting out on time. I'm like,
insane.
We got to go. I'm not having this kid in the car.
Yeah. That's awesome. Well, congratulations, man. I know he's going to be big and strong and healthy just like the rest of you guys have been. So
yeah, man. He's a little beast. So third boy, 3 boys under 3. I got my squad, man.
Runs in the family, I guess, huh? Just like your pops.
Catching up.
Yeah.
Catching up to my dad.
Yeah, there you go. So we wanted to have you on, one because you've been a big supporter of ours in the past, and currently right now with Ice Shaker being a sponsor of the podcast. We want to say thank you first and foremost.
Yeah,
we got all ours.
Go.
Cheers. We're ready to go.
I got 2.
There you go. Double fisting.
Yes, sir.
Well, we wanted to say thank you, first and foremost, because, you have shown us a lot of support even with our own businesses. And, we're grateful that we can, showcase Ice Shaker and showcase everything else that you got going on today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I see 2 guys absolutely grinding, man, hustling, putting that work in day and day out. Anytime I see someone doing that, I have respect for them. So I'm glad we can partner up and do some stuff together.
Yeah, I appreciate it. So
appreciate it too.
Why don't we start right off? Like, what gave you the idea to come up with Ice Shaker?
Man, so it was the Texas heat. It was what it really came down to. I was here in Texas. I was going to the gym. At that time, I just had got out of football. And I was doing double days, man. So I was going to the gym in the morning, going to work, and I was going back. And by the time I got there, I had this bottle. I used it all day. It smelled awful. My drink was warm, and I was making little sweat rings on the ground. And I was like, man, I wish there was a bottle out there that I could just use all day, every day for everything and would still keep my drink cold. And that was kind of really the goal at the time was, I was bringing one drink or cup to work. And then I was going home and I make like pre-workout or protein shakes or whatever. I throw that one in the sink. By the end of the day, I had 5 different cups. It's like, let's just make one bottle I can use all day, every day. Make it super easy to fill, super easy to clean. Have the ability to shake it up in case I need a shake or I'm traveling or whatever it is, and I just got to get shaken on the road. But also just let it be something I could use at work or by the pool, on the airplane, wherever I go. I could just bring this one bottle, and it will do it all. So that was kind of the goal. That was the mission, and I just set out to make the best bottle that I possibly could.
That's awesome, man, dude. And trust me, it does the jobs because I've had stuff sitting there for 24 hours and it's still cold. So it's amazing.
Yeah, if we know anything, it's the heat down here, man. Too. It's like we've been working outside on the beach before for hours in the middle of the day, and usually water's piss warm by the end of it, or whatever shake I have in it. And this one keeps everything nice and cold, so it's great. And like you said, it's a great utility bottle for everything, no matter what you're doing.
Yeah, a lot of people, they just like to party, and so it actually works as a cocktail shaker too.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So I see a lot of ice shakers floating in pools around Miami as well.
Yeah, I bet. How was it? How was that experience going on Shark Tank? That must have been pretty amazing, and getting a chance to work with Mark Cuban and kind of expand the business from there.
Yeah, man. I mean, it really is everything that everyone says it is. The exposure is real. You go on, they give you real money. It actually goes into your bank account. They have no idea who you are going on. It's not like some setup show. They didn't know I was going on. They didn't know my family was there. They had no idea who I was or what my business was when I walked on the stage. And man, the real thing is, as well as the work is real, man, because your business explodes overnight. And really, for me, it was a side hustle. I had a full-time job, and this was just something I was kind of doing on the side, and overnight it became a full-time business. And I didn't have employees, so all the marketing, all the shipping, all the customization, everything you could possibly think of with running a business, all pretty much 10 to 20 to 30x overnight. And so the work was real too, man. You don't just chill on a private island after you're on Shark Tank.
Yeah, no, for sure. People forget how difficult it can be to really run a successful business, especially when you're building it from the ground up like you have and like we have in the past with the things that we've been doing. People think that they just see the end result and they don't really know all the sleepless nights and the early mornings and, the difficult internal conversations that you have with yourself about, whether or not this is really the path that you need to be taking. People don't really see that. They just see the success. So it's great when you can hear from people and say, like, yeah, it was interesting, but it's a lot of hard work still. And we see you grinding every day. We see you posting. We see you, making shit happen and really making sure that your business is taken care of.
So speaking about that, the process, like, did you have any like major setbacks while creating and manufacturing the actual ice shaker bottle? Were there like different trial and errors you had to go through? Like, I would love to hear that too, because I know a lot of people out there struggling, hit barriers, and sometimes they give up. Like, what advice can you give people off those experiences you had?
Yeah, man, there's more barriers. Man, it's so hard. And even a simple product like this, right? You're like, man, it's a damn cup, right? That's so damn easy. And one of the first barriers is just starting, really. I've heard so many people tell me after I came out with this that said, hey, I had that same idea years ago. I'm like, that's great. Anyone can have an idea. It's so hard to act upon it. And it's so hard to have the passion and love for it as well. So first barrier I think is, just really starting. Second is you have to have passion for it because you're going to hit a barrier really quick. And my first one was on my very first order. First, before I even got there, I probably had about 20 different prototypes. And the main goal with the cup was, hey, I don't want a cup that leaks. So at the end of the day, that was the biggest issue with any metal cup on the market. At that time, there was metal cups. They weren't insulated. At least the shaker bottles weren't. But any metal cup out there, the number one complaint was, first off, you put heat or cold in it, it'd either burn or freeze your hands. But number two was they always leak because it's a little bit harder to seal metal to plastic. Plastic to plastic is super simple. It's not going to leak. But once you start messing with seals, it's a problem. So my very first order came in. We did about 20 different prototypes. I was finally comfortable with the seal on it. It wasn't leaking. But then this damn pop top, man, on the first order, for whatever reason, we never had issues with it. They're made in 2-packs. Like, they're made 2 at a time. And for whatever reason, the second one out of every single bottle that came in was messed up. And when you tip it upside down, it would just pour out.
Oh, no.
And there was no way to look at it and physically tell that which one was the wrong one. So we had to replace each and every one of them by hand. And at that time, it was just me. Like, for the most part, it was me and my father-in-law in the upstairs in my loft where we had all the bottles stored because I didn't have a store or anything. And we were just taking off lids and, just throwing out 10,000 lids was a lot of space and a lot of time. Yeah. And replacing them all, checking them, man, it was just an absolute nightmare. So just right from the get-go, man, day one was a disaster. And if I wasn't, super, super passionate about this, I would have just said, man, what am I doing? I'm making really good money with this other business that my wife had started. I didn't need to do this. I was very well off at that time already. So at that point, it would have been, hey, screw this. Let's just continue doing what I was doing. But, man, you have to have that passion. If you have to have that goal, you have to want it. And if you do, you're going to be successful, man.
So knowing about that passion and knowing that passion can really lead you to do amazing things, what else besides the passion did you feel really helped you continue on and not give up?
Man, for me, it was always about the grind, man, like learning the value of a dollar and hard work from a young age. So a lot of people will say, hey, how did football transition over to entrepreneurship? And it was almost identical for me. Waking up at 6 a.m. and going hard, until 6 p.m. I was used to that. So putting a 12-hour day in was nothing. Studying, looking at opponents, all that stuff just transitioned right over into the business world. And I was all about the grind and figuring things out. So the passion has to be there. But to me, it's man, you also have to just know how to get things done and figure out problems. And you have to figure out all kinds of problems that you never thought you would figure out. And you have to take on so many different roles and so many hats. And, there's times where I'm sitting there like, hey, man, I'm trying to figure out how to upload this computer software or, I'm pretty much, fluent in Photoshop now. And it's like, man, I never thought I was going to be Photoshopping images, but I could show you how to crop any image you want, man. Like I'm like an expert at this stuff now.
Me and Josh talk about that crap all the time.
Yeah.
I'm laughing.
All the things you
it's so true.
Do, man, you end up doing, and the way you do it is you figure it out. Like you can't just go and ask them. You have to sit there and just say, hey, man, I just got to get this done, and I got to take this time, and I just got to grind and figure it out, or it never happens, man. You have to be able to be someone that just makes things happen.
Yeah, I mean, I always have these conversations with like some of my friends that are, basically just pawns in the corporate game. They work for like JP Morgan or Merrill Lynch, and they have, this very specific role within their job structure, and anything that doesn't fit that little, envelope, they just have to outsource. So then when I go to them and I ask them a question that I would have just assumed that they would know, it's like a general question about what they do, and they're like, oh, well, I can't help you with that. Like, it sounds like you know more about that than me. Like, I was talking to one of my friends who works in advertising. I was like, oh, I need to, make a storyboard to make this ad. And he's like, okay, great. I'll help you with it. I was like, okay, perfect. I was assuming, making an ass out of him and myself though. But, I was assuming that he already knew about storyboards and how to build them. And when we got to it, he's like, all right, man. So like, how do we do this? I was like, I have to teach you? Like, oh, fuck. I was like, I thought you knew about this. He's like, nah, man, I know how to like put Google ads and Instagram ads up, but I don't know anything about storyboards. So then it turned into like an 1.5-hour tutorial of me teaching him how to do it so that he could learn and help me in the future. And it was just like, I completely forgot that as a business owner, you're right. Like, you have to become the ultimate problem solver. Like, no matter what, you got to figure it out or your business isn't going to move forward.
You're going to be like a jack of all trades. And then kind of something that I've learned is like, you got to learn enough of all these different things. And then when you get to that level, well, you'll be able to then make enough money to hire people to do certain things. Now you still understand because you went through it. So, people can't bullshit you now because you're like, okay, that's not a good job because I was doing that before. That is okay, keep that up because that's what I was doing before. We got to keep that going. So it's kind of cool when you're being able to play all these different cards and then kind of also see, pinpoint what's crap and what's not.
Yeah, that's been huge for me. And a good example is just with Facebook ads. I learned it all myself from day one. I didn't have anyone come in. I didn't have anyone show me. I just tested a million things. I just kept throwing stuff out there and trying different ads and different ad groups and different people. And so finally I got to the point where I was like, hey, maybe I should probably get an expert to come in and just verify to me that I somewhat know what I'm doing because you could lose a lot of money, especially if you're spending a lot.
For sure.
If you don't know how to really optimize your ad. So I had an expert come in and at the end of the day, if I didn't know what I was doing, I would have thought he was doing a good job.
Right.
And I would have spent a lot of money. I would have had him continue to do it. But knowing what I knew that, he was doing well, but I can always do better. And I was doing better than him. And after a month, I let him go. And it kind of verified to me that I knew what I was doing. But great example that you don't really know where that ceiling is or what the expectation should be unless you're doing it. But along the same path, man, when you get to that point too, you have to let things go. I think that was something that was really holding me back was building a team. Early on as an entrepreneur, you do everything. It's your baby. And sometimes you don't want to let go of things. And I definitely, and advice I give to people is don't hold on for too long. You have to build a team. It's like football. It's like any sport. You need a good team if you want to win the championship, if you want to go to that next level. And I think I waited a little bit too long to really bring team members in that could take me to that next level. And I just put too much on myself and I could only do so much. You max out no matter how many hours you work a week, mentally, physically, you max out at a certain level. So that's when you got to start bringing those team members in to help you go to that next level.
Yeah, I think once you stop getting that return on the actual 60 minutes that you're spending doing whatever, it's time to kick it to someone else and hopefully find that person that'll work for you. But even that takes time, It takes a while to find that person.
Extremely hard process as well. And that's another thing as an entrepreneur that you have to learn. That's another skill.
Yeah, hiring people, hiring the right people. Yeah.
Hiring the right people. You can't just hire your friends for customer service if they don't know how to do customer service. You have to go out there and you have to find people that have that personality, that fit that job, that want to do it. And that's also a skill itself. That's not easy. Everyone shows their best front. So they're going to show up in an interview and tell you how great they are. And a month later, they're not that same person anymore. So another skill and definitely a tough process that you have to learn as well going through.
Now you work a lot with your family, so how has that been? Because you guys are a pretty rowdy bunch, but obviously you guys get it done when you need to focus. So how's it been working with your brothers, working with your father?
It's been cool. So we have a cool split on kind of how we do things. Ice Shaker is all me. Rob is a partial, a small investor. He bought A-Rod out of the company. But other than that, my family business, we kind of just work together. Everyone kind of just works together. So everything is based around health and fitness. My dad's been in the fitness space for over 30 years. He's, I think, the second largest distributor of specialty fitness equipment now in the U.S.
Wow.
Amazing.
We sell all commercial grade. We also have Gronk Fitness now that plays more into the accessories and lines that we could sell throughout the U.S. now, because his commercial stuff is, he has territories and he can't sell outside of his territories in the Northeast. So, but everything kind of just plays together. Our main goal is to help everyone live a happier, healthier lifestyle through fitness and sports. And so we're able to help each other with everything. If my brother does a gym, we'll give him some ice shakers as a gift, and kind of just find a way to play everything in together to help everyone get to their end result. So it's been really fun, man. We kind of, we have our space, but at the same time, we're able to help each other get to that next level.
Yeah, I mean that's really what it's about, And you mentioned athletics before, right? Like you guys all played football. One of your brothers played baseball, correct? And when you're part of that team atmosphere, it is about it's not about me, it's not about you, it's about making sure that we each play our role so that everyone can succeed in the end. So being able to see, and I kind of feel like at times, at least like with my own sister, I feel like we always kind of butt heads, but I can always kind of use your family. I like to use your family as an example to remind myself, like, okay, why are we butting heads, and how can I just make this relationship better in the short term so we can help each other out, and then we can be happier as a family and be successful together. So, kudos to you guys for one, showing everyone how you guys can have a lot of fun. You guys can, still work together and still, be a happy family, even though, there may be those times where you have to have those difficult conversations.
Yeah, it's been cool, man. It's been fun. Our youngest brother now is into Stadium Blitz. We got to get you guys at it as well. So
yeah, man, we're looking forward to it.
Oh, yeah.
And so just a whole nother aspect of, cool event that really brings health and fitness to the forefront again. So everything we do is kind of just, hey, man, let's help each other out. And so every day I'm talking to one of my brothers, or usually most of them. I mean, I've already had, 2 phone calls today with 2 of my brothers. So a really, really cool aspect. And a lot of them are just, calls on events that we're actually doing together, even though we're running different businesses. So at this point, man, growing up, it was definitely a battle, and we fought every single day. But at this point, man, all we do is try to build each other up and help each other out. So it's been a good family relationship as well.
That's awesome, man. And that's the key is it's happiness at the end of the day. And if you guys are able to balance out that business and family happiness, that is truly amazing. So a question I have for you, man, for you and your family, the way you guys are operating stuff. I know things are a little weird right now with all the times that are going on, especially hearing about possible, the possible reclosing of gyms, and of course events haven't been as big. Like, what are unique things that you guys are doing right now for tackling certain situations like that? I know in your end for the ice shaker bottles is a little different, but I know you also work with your family and other stuff. Like, what are you guys doing unique to overcome that, and also to mentally, like, how are you guys approaching that mentally?
Yeah, man. Well, let's see. Mentally, for me, man, right off the bat, man, definitely a lifestyle change, and it was tough because I was the guy that was waking up at 4 a.m., 4:30, and going directly to the gym every single day. So for me, mentally, man, it was kind of a whole reset, and I really had to take the time and sit down and say, hey, let's get a schedule together that now works for me, because, and I don't know about you guys, but for me, with my fitness and my health, I love having routine, and I feel like my body reacts to a routine, and mentally as well. If I could put on paper that I'm working out at this time, I'm going to do it. If I'm writing down on paper that I'm going to eat at this time, I'm eating at that time, and I'm not snacking all day like I was when quarantine first hit. And every time I walk by the fridge, I grabbed a couple snacks out of there.
Yeah.
So, just completely different mindset. At first, I was thrown off the first 2 weeks. I felt awful. I really did. I was like, man, this just ain't right. Like, I thought maybe I was sick or something. That's kind of how I felt. And then finally I locked down and said, hey, man, It's all about your mindset. It's how you look at things. Let me get a schedule that now works for me with what's going on. And that's what I did. I had the kids at home as well. And I said, hey, kids are at home and, my wife needs to work at this time. Perfect. I'll actually work out while I watch the kids and I'll get them involved and I'll have fun with the kids as well. And so that's kind of how I had to reapproach things on that end. And then the business front, man, luckily for us, man, fitness, especially home fitness, exploded.
Boom.
So my family business, took off, where the exact opposite, happened for Stadium Blitz, which is an event-based, business. So my youngest brother, Glenn, actually just switched over to the company that runs Stadium Blitz. And, he was sitting there like, hey, man, am I going to have a job anymore? Because you can't run an event. So how do you have a job when you have to get people together in a stadium to hold this? So for them, and kind of same with Ice Shaker was, people aren't going to the gym. And this, for the most part, people consider it a bottle they use at the gym. So how can we bring value and make relationships now when, we can't really do business? So that's what it was all about at that point. It was getting creative, bringing value to other people at this point and building a relationship. So when this did end, we could go back and say, hey, we need some help now. Can you guys come on board now at this point? So that's kind of how we looked at it. We got super creative, putting workouts together, helping other businesses like gyms, Gold's Gym, and contacted them and saying, hey, I would love to do an at-home workout for you. You guys can use this content 100% free, whatever you want. And that's what we did. So I was able to get on their page for them. At that time, they only had content built out for the gym. I gave them at-home workouts almost immediately. They used that, and they became a partner of ours with Stadium Blitz. So
it's amazing.
They kind of returned the favor once it came back around. So that's how we approach it, man. How could we reach out, give people value, help them out in a tough time now, and then hopefully, if we're facing tough times, they could help us out as well.
Yeah, we always talk about, even with the things that we're working on is constantly trying to, facilitate and grow that relationship, even though, there might not be some payoff for it in the short term, like we were talking about with a lot of the stuff that we're doing for the podcast and trying to drive more ad revenue and everything. We're like, at this point with how everything's going with people's, marketing budgets and advertising budgets, maybe not the right time to push so much on the advertising, but try to focus on like how we build these relationships. So like you said, when the time is right, we can call upon them and say, listen, like, it's go time. We're ready.
Yeah. And if you lead with, what I've really learned and really what 2020 was all about before any of this even hit was just leading with value.
Yeah.
Giving people something to value, because if you do, they're going to use it. First off, they're going to share it. They're going to tell a friend. And, it's going to organically spread. If you give someone something like your workouts, for example, you build your following because you're posting these awesome workouts that somebody else is actually using, and then they're sharing it, and then their friends are seeing it and sharing it. So you just organically build by giving something to people that they can actually use. And that's kind of how the 2020 has been and how we wanted to approach everything. How can we provide value first before even asking them, to come on board with the company? So we like to shoot out workouts, and then just also separate ourselves. And it was kind of, anyone could go buy from Amazon, right? Super easy. That's what everyone does. And for us, we really wanted to give our customers an experience. And 2020, and when COVID hit, we kind of sat down and said, hey, what can we do different that really separates us and gives our customers a different experience? So stuff like, if you buy from us, you get a free gift. You get an ebook gets sent to you, and that ebook was something that took me a week to do, where, I wrote down every single meal that I ever ate. I broke down all the macros on it, the times I woke up, times I went to bed, everything I could possibly think of workout-wise that I did that day, I put into a 7-day ebook, and we just sent it out free to people. And, when I thought about it, I said, hey, man, a lot of our customers don't work out, especially at the gym. A lot of them don't want to look like me. But I figured that, hey, they might not want to use it, but they might have a friend that wants to use it. And so by doing that, we're just trying to separate ourselves, offer value, and we've seen a great return from it. So that's kind of our game plan and what we've seen really work for 2020. And I think that's something that people just expect from this point going forward.
That's awesome, man. I always say a little bit can go a long way. And it's the same way, like, I know, me and Josh, when we've worked with clients, and something that I've always done was, give them things on their birthdays, give them things on holidays, randomly gift them, a branded shirt or something, just to show them that you care, and it does go a long way. And doing little random giveaways and stuff like that to, your following, and, reaching out to them, showing them love, shouting them out, stuff like that, through social media. I've noticed like huge return on love back. And then later on, they're like, hey, how can I help you? Or I want to buy your product, or I want to buy this. And it's so true, man. It's so true. When you give, you'll receive. So, and I agree 100% on that.
Yeah. A lot of times, man, you just have to care. Like you said, just actually care and truly care, a lot of people will automate stuff, and it's just like, at the end of the day, how much does a DM, back to somebody mean? Or even back on their comments that, if they take the time to post on your stuff and say, hey, loved your workout, just hit them back and say, thanks. I'd love for you to share it. It means so much to people. And when it's authentic like that, they feel the connection. That's what it's all about, man. It's just really, truly caring, building connections, and it's just going to continue to spread.
Now you've mentioned Stadium Blitz a couple of times. Why don't we tell the people who don't know what that is about, exactly what you got going on with that, and anything that you have moving in the future, if you guys have anything planned.
For sure. So we do have 4 events planned this year. It was originally 12. We actually were able to have the first 2 earlier on in the year before COVID hit. But the championship is in Tampa, so be kind of close to you guys, a little bit of the drive. But
yeah, we'll make it up for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, man.
It's only a 4-hour.
Get the whole crew there.
Yeah. Yeah, we'll try to bring the squad.
Oh, yeah.
I like it. But what it is it's an obstacle course race through stadiums. And really the idea was, to get people out to their favorite stadium where their favorite players play, and give them kind of those butterflies, man, in your stomach. Like, you're walking out under the lights, and you're going to compete on that same field that your favorite players compete on, right? So that was kind of the experience we were going for. And then we kind of wanted to make it a family feel as well. We wanted to really open it up to everybody. So it's age 7 and up. If you're not at the age level, I think it's 14, where you can do the hardest obstacle courses. You kind of just, you do the stuff that's easier, that's not as dangerous. So age 7 and up, and it's a timed event as well. So every second under, man, we've been changing the rules around, and I think it's a little bit different each course, but under 40 minutes, you get a point. And then you also get points per obstacle. So there's a little bit of strategy there as well. So if you skip an obstacle, you might save some time, which saves you points. But at the end of the day, if you can complete all the obstacles in a decent time, you're going to actually get more points. So pretty cool system. A little bit different than everything else that everyone's doing. And we've had a lot of success with it so far, and we're super excited to get it back going.
Where are the 4 events that you're having scheduled so far? So
ending in Tampa, starting in Kansas, University of Kansas is where the first one would be. I believe Buffalo. Then I'm not sure where the 4th one is right now.
Got to show Upstate some love.
Hey, man, that's where we're from. So
me too, man. Me too. I'm from Clayton, so.
Okay.
Yeah.
So Bill's Mafia in the house after that event, or after party as well, and that's where you break tables.
Yeah, there you go. There's not. Listen, I've always told my friends down here, there's no tailgate like a Buffalo Bills tailgate.
There's not, man. I mean, that's a whole new level.
Yeah.
And you actually don't know that when you grow up in Buffalo, because you just kind of think it's normal.
Right.
And then you go somewhere else and you're like, why is no one jumping off buses through tables that are lit on fire?
Well, the fact that I even tell people that they sell 30 packs of beer up there, they're like, wait, what? Like, what do you need the extra 6 beers for? Like, oh, you need them up there. It's cold. It's cold.
Yeah. Man, you get the Canadian beer too, which hits. You get that extra percentage. Man. That's the good stuff.
Yeah, you know what's good. You know what's up.
Yeah, man. Buffalo's, it's a good place to grow up, I tell people, man, because once you leave, you're like, man, it's pretty cool everywhere else.
Yeah, right? You're like, I don't mind the small town feel, but I'm glad I'm not there right now. Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
It's tough to wake up and plow a driveway, but definitely shout out to Bill's Mafia. We will be there. We'll be back there as well. And our first event was actually there to kick off Stadium Blitz last year, and great turnout. And I'm sure it will be even better this year. I'm sure people are itching to get out of their house. So it should be a great event.
Yeah, and ending in Tampa, man, the stadium that your brother's about to play in. So it's got to be pretty exciting.
Yeah, man.
It's got to be pretty exciting to be able to see him back in a jersey real soon.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, so he should be reporting back on the 28th. So hopefully there's no delays there. And man, I'm telling people, man, if football's canceled or delayed, there's going to be more health issues than if this virus took them out. I can tell you that right now, man. That's like, people live and breathe for football, so you can't cancel the season.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was, but they made a joke. They're like, listen, I think Roger Goodell would rather give his family COVID than cancel the NFL season. You know,
I definitely heard that.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I think that's a lot the attitude for a lot of fans, man.
Yeah.
I mean, football is huge.
Yeah, you can't take it away from people. It's part of the blood of America, you know.
And you know, Tampa right now is on another level. They're excited. So.
Yeah.
Oh, Tampa's a whole new level. I mean, I had talked to a reporter, and he's like, man, we almost feel bad talking about how excited everyone is because everyone's in such a tight and tough position right now.
Yeah.
But that city is lit up and ready to go.
Yeah, man, it's gonna be a good time.
The championship is there, so.
Oh yeah, the Super Bowl's there.
Super Bowl
man,
in
Super
Tampa.
Bowl.
That's the crazy part.
Wow.
So, and if it's a team that's gonna do it, it's both your brother and Brady. So.
It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch, man. They got some weapons, and I think they got a little chip on the shoulder, man.
Mm-hmm.
They want to show what's up.
Yeah, good for them.
I think it's time.
That's a good excuse for me to go drive up with Josh to Tampa.
Yeah, we're gonna make a couple trips up for sure. We'll come and see you whenever you're there.
Definitely trying to get there, my man. So hopefully this all blows over and I'm good to go because I'm trying to catch a couple games too.
Yeah,
and you gotta come down to Miami, man.
Yeah, we gotta get you down here.
I'm ready for Miami, man.
Yeah, they were talking about, you know, on Wednesday they're gonna close down the gyms here again and close down the restaurants. So
yeah,
I know a lot of people are stressing about that, man. You know, it's you know, like you said, it's a real tough situation. And I don't know how you can let one person really, you know, make that call, especially when most of these people making the decisions don't exercise. You know, how can you how do you know that all these outbreaks and cases are coming from places that actually help get people healthier? You know?
Hey man, well, I mean, I've been looking for you know, kind of all the traces back to the gyms, and I really haven't heard a report on that. And so, I mean, it's a tough situation for everybody.
Yeah.
But it's definitely unfortunate because, you know, the gym is the place where it's not just physical, man. It's definitely mental as well, kind of how I hit on before. You know, it's definitely unfortunate. It's killing the gym industry, but you know, just gotta, for now, at least find ways to work around it. I think that at-home workouts, you know, they're going to be a thing of the future, and I think the big gym chains have to look at it that way as well and say, hey, you know, maybe we weren't going to provide this service before, but maybe it's something that we have now. You know, with our memberships, is this opportunity to actually, you know, work out at home and provide workouts for them. So definitely a tough situation for the gyms, but I think they're going to also be able to adapt, and you know, the good ones are going to adapt, and they're going to find ways to now reach people at their house, you know, which should make them a stronger brand at the end of the day. Hopefully, you know, it's definitely going to take some time, but I think that's where it will go.
Yeah, I mean, you saw Lululemon bought that mirror company for $500 million. Man, that's some real bread right there. You know, so. I
got one on my wall, man.
Oh yeah, there you go. How is it? It's pretty good.
Hey, so my family actually sells them.
Okay, great.
They're distributed for them. So if you need one, let me know. But
yeah, for sure.
It's cool. What's really good and what they're really hitting on, I think, is the prenatal and postnatal workouts.
Oh wow! I didn't know they had that feature.
Yeah, so my wife just had the third boy, and you know, she wants to get back in shape. She's about a month out, so she's good to start working out now, and that's one of the first things you see when you log into the app. So I think they're doing a really good job of targeting people that, you know, want to work out from home.
Yeah.
And so they got my wife sucked in immediately on that. And, so it's been up on the wall. You know, she did her second workout yesterday, but it's cool. You know what I like about it is you feel like you're working out with somebody. And that's really what it is, man. It's like you two working out together. You're going to push each other to that next level that you would never do by sitting at your house by yourself. So, you know, I did a partner workout is what they called it, where, you know, there's two people on the screen, and it's kind of like, man, it's kind of like 3D. So it's kind of like they're in the room with you. But I felt like I was working out with them. I was walking up to the mirror, and one of the partner exercises was like, one person does squats and they hold their hands up. The other person has to do high knee kicks the whole time. And so I was sticking out my hands, and then I was doing the high knees for them, and I was screaming. I was tagging them on Instagram. They're hitting me back. So pretty cool concept, man. I mean, anything that really just gets you excited, that you can have fun with and really feel a part of, I think is going to work. And what you see too that also attracted me to it was the fact that as you're working out, there's a number on the bottom of the screen, and it tells you how many other people are doing that same workout.
I've seen that.
Even though I can't see them, and I have no clue who they are, you actually can. You can see their, you could see their like login name. So whatever their screen name is, you can see, and you can also, I think you could see where they're from as well. But it will say like 395 people are doing this workout right now, and to me, I'm like, oh hell yeah, I got to beat them out now. Yeah. And it's just kind of that feeling like, man, like you're back in the gym, like you see everyone else there and you're like, I gotta smoke these people. They're doing it. I'm doing it. Let's do this kind of feeling. And so that's what I like about it. And I think that's how all fitness should be, man. It's kind of, that team atmosphere and doing stuff by yourself and making it kind of like this chore or, like this job or like, I gotta go work out. This sucks. I think that's the complete wrong approach, man. I think you just have to find what you absolutely love doing, that you have fun doing, and do it that way. Or with a person that loves doing it, that you love being around, or you want to have a good time with. So just either find that person or find that workout, and it could be anything. It could be the damn mirror. It could be like cycling class. I did a cycling class, and I was like, "There's no way I'm going to like this class, right?" And halfway through it, I'm like fist pumping. I'm like, "Yo, this
I would pay.
awesome.
I would pay to see you in a Soul Cycle.
Yes.
I'd pay to see that. That'd be great.
I've been there, and it's like a party in there, man. They turn the lights down, they're flashing, and I'm like, this is pretty good time.
Yeah.
So speaking of crazy workouts, I gotta ask, how's the Gronk family workout? Like all of you guys together. How does that work? Like what kind of workout is that? Because that must be intense.
Man, usually it turns into some kind of competition, is what it ends up being. We like, workouts themselves. I mean, growing up, we were intense with, who could lift more kind of deal. Now it's not really like that. We all it's kind of weird because we all kind of work out different now. Each brother kind of like does their own thing or kind of does their own. I'm still trying to crush weights, and they're like, "You're an idiot. What are you doing?" Most of my other brothers are, they're trying to just stay in shape for the most part and kind of do more functionality. Rob's really into the TB12 stuff and being as functional and pliable as possible to be a better athlete. Yeah. So kind of everyone's just hitting different stuff. My oldest brother right now he's doing like this. He did a vegan diet for a month and lost a bunch of weight. He's all shredded now, but completely different workouts than what I'm doing. So pretty interesting to see everyone and what they're doing. But when we get together, it's kind of, we usually do like stations now. So I have this cool gym here called APE Strength, and he does what he calls 2010s or 40-20s. And really, it's just functional training for 20 seconds on and 10 seconds off. And then next station, or 40. If you go 40 seconds, man, it's a burner for sure. So if you do the 40s, you're definitely juiced. But 2010s, and then usually you go about 10 different exercises before you get a break. And so that's kind of what we do when we get together. And it's a cool way and a fun way to really just really get some good functional training in.
So who usually comes out on top?
And so on that, I call it doing extras. So I always try to get a couple extra rounds in. And I always try to push it to the next level. So, I carried the belt for Stadium Blitz for the first one. And then the second one I got cheated on, man. And the youngest brother beat me by 1 second. But that was after some serious technical difficulties. And I also got stuck behind someone on the last exercise that I beat my brother to by about 5 seconds. Got stuck on the rings in front of me, and he won't get off the damn ring. So I ended up losing by 1 second. But that's kind of how everything is, man. I'm trying to win it. Everyone's trying to win it, really. But if you go overall, what's good about me is that I'm actually the shortest in the family, so it gives me a lot of advantages in a lot of different things. So lifting weights and kind of like the swings and stuff. And I'm lighter and smaller. It's a little bit easier than being 6'7".
What are you, 6'2", short at 6'2"?
Yeah,
I would take that.
Yeah, right.
I would take that in a heartbeat, being short at 6'2". Damn.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's cool, but for them, it's cool being 6'7" until you got to sit on an airplane or try to
or walk through a doorway. Yeah.
Yeah, even some of these obstacles, man, it's tough when you're that big to get through them.
Yeah, man.
Even just carrying weight, man, is tough. So it's been, but it's been fun, man. It's been fun. It's definitely different competing as well. Especially Stadium Blitz. It's so much endurance, and we've always kind of just been
power athletes.
Yeah, it's just interval training. 15 seconds on with a 45-second break, because that's what football is.
Yep.
Boom, go hard as you possibly can for 15 seconds, and then you kind of just jog back to the huddle or chill. So that's how I've always trained. So to now go into this endurance competition, I thought I was going to be all right, and I'm powering through like the first 10 minutes thinking I'm a beast, and then it was like boom, I just hit this wall, and I'm like, man, this is not going to be easy with another 30 minutes left.
Now, how did you shift your training once you started kind of focusing on the Stadium Blitz side of things, right? Because you said that you really like to throw some weights around, right? And obviously you grew up as a power athlete. So how did you transition into that more endurance style training? So
really the transition started when COVID hit, and it kind of went back to that new routine I had to do. So I hated running, man. I hadn't ran more than a mile since I was probably in 7th grade or 8th grade or whatever it was when they would test you in the mile. And so once COVID hit, I had to find a way to challenge myself. And it was always kind of with weights, or I was playing basketball with everyone at the gym. And there's always some element of competition or something that would push me to the edge. And once COVID hit and I had 30-pound dumbbells at home, there was really nothing pushing me to that next level. And so I started running. And the first mile I ran, man, I almost fainted after. I was freaking toasted. And I'm like, man, running sucks, right? And it was kind of one of those things where I was like, well, I have to at least be able to run 3 miles to, complete Stadium Blitz without stopping. So I kind of just kept pushing myself there, and it's really increased my endurance a lot. So I'm now my max so far has been 4 miles, and I still hate running, but I can do it now. Whereas before it was like, man, 1 mile, I'm completely toasted. I'm cramping up, like I'm shot. I'm taking a nap afterwards because I'm just completely drained, and now I'm crushing 3 miles, and I'm like, hey, let's do some squats after. So my endurance is shot through the roof, and I really think it will help overall just be a better athlete as well. So I'm super excited to get back out there and see how I can compete now at this level.
Josh will tell you how much he loves running.
I hate it. I would pay anyone any amount of money if they could run for me and I could get the benefit. I don't care what it costs.
I'm just waiting to get the damn runner's high, man. When does that kick in?
Yeah, I don't think that. I think that's just a lie that they tell themselves. I don't think that really exists. I think that's just something that keeps them motivated to keep running. Like, oh, I feel good. It's like, all right, There's no way you feel good on mile 13, 14. No way.
Actually, I feel worse every mile.
Yeah.
I'm like, there's no way this is right.
Yeah.
But one thing I've kind of, it is a big mind game, man. And one thing I noticed is kind of once I stopped clocking how far I was going, it helped a lot. So I now try to run on different paths that I don't know how far they are, because it kind of takes my mind off of it. I'm like, hey, man, I don't know how far this is. I'm just going to run all the way down there, and I'm going to turn around. I'm going to run all the way back, and, then, hopefully it's far enough.
Yeah.
And so that's really helped a lot. Instead of, the second I would look at my watch, or like I'd set a distance for myself, all I would think about is the end and how far away it was. And I'm like, man, I cannot do this. So, man, most of everything you do is it's really mindset. It's what it comes down to. And even when I was stopping and I was really hurting, I would say to myself, like, why am I stopping? What's hurting? Is it my lungs? Is it my calves, or what is it? And most of the time it would be nothing. When I really thought about it, it was like, I just don't want to do it. And that mindset would kick in, like, hey, I'm not hurting. I still got a lot left in the tank. Let's keep rolling. And that's kind of how I got to, I'm impressed with 4 miles, but I know people crank out a lot further than that, but I'm happy to get there because I've never ran that far in my life. And being a little bit bigger, I kind of got an excuse that 4 miles is pretty far compared to some people that are half my weight.
4 more miles than I'm running, man. I run like 40 yards. That's about it. My client's like, oh, let's go. I train a couple of my clients on like a track that has a football field. Like, oh, let's go around it's an Olympic size track. Like, let's just take a lap. I'm like, no, you take a lap. I'll go about 40 yards and I'll come back and do that about 10 times by the time you run that lap. Like, I'm no way in hell I'm running 400 meters. You're good.
Yeah, man. Hey, man, the hit stuff though.
Yeah.
A lot of times, it's burning more calories. It's all what you're trying to do and what you can make. Mm-hmm. So
yeah,
definitely different styles, but
and like you said, what you enjoy,
Exactly.
and I got to be the Stadium Blitz champ, even though I don't enjoy it.
Yeah,
that's right. Do
this training. I'm going to enjoy walking around with the belt.
So wait, is the championship? Is it in a specific event, or is it in every event? How does that work? Is it at Tampa?
Yeah. So how it works is, there is a championship for the whole season in Tampa, and it's actually a cash prize on it as well. But with the championship for me, like I have absolutely no chance of actually winning Stadium Blitz. So my championship is actually just against my four brothers. So it's us five, and whoever wins that race gets the Gronk Brother Championship belt, and that's what I'm competing for. I actually thought maybe there was a chance of like competing in Stadium Blitz, and then I went to the first one, and I watched the athletes that come to these events and train for them, and there's absolutely no chance that I will ever win one of those events. So I just compete against my brothers now at this point.
Well, I definitely got to get Josh to start running with me, because maybe we'll compete.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I got one big final question for you, man. Who's a better athlete, you and your brothers or your pops? Because I know he just got elected into the Syracuse Athletic Hall of Fame, if I'm not mistaken, right? I mean, I'm a Syracuse alum, so I follow suit.
He got a letter of distinction, but yeah, I don't know, because he won't break out the playing film. So yeah, he talks a big game, but at the end of the day, I've never actually seen him play, so I'm not really sure. But he was a powerhouse back in the day, man. Back then, you didn't really know how to lift correctly. So he'd tell me that he just bench every day, and he's benching. I think he's benching over 500 pounds, and he was about 280 when he played football. So offensive guard. So not necessarily the an athlete position, but man, I guess he could ball back in the day. That's what his friends tell me. But I'm definitely going with the kids, man. I think what we had that really got us to the next level was everything he taught us and everything he did for us. So he had that perspective. And it's something that he didn't get growing up. He didn't know anything about training. He knew absolutely nothing, but he was able to provide us what he learned through all his years. So I think what was really big for us was a speed coach early on in high school, because at that age, man, just speed and agility is huge. And you're just learning your body, especially my brothers that were so tall. At first, when you grow like that, man, they really didn't have control of their body. So for my dad to bring in a speed coach that really worked on agility, explosiveness, just the correct form of running, I think that took us to a whole new level. And then my dad himself, man, he taught us how to lift and how to lift correctly. And it wasn't, go lift a bunch of weight. It was, hey, come in the basement, learn proper form at a young age. So, we were 14 or 15 when we started, but it wasn't like we were going down there and, cranking bench, reps out. We might have been using the bar at that time. But it was all about, hey, just do it right. Learn the right form at that age. And then, when you go to the gym or when you start lifting, you know how to do it the right way so you don't hurt yourself. And so that's what he was all about. So I think we became a lot better athletes than he was because we had, a lot more tools that he gave us to work with and really taught us. So, I mean, when you're going against an all-pro bowler, man, I got to give it.
It's tough.
To the kids, man.
3-time Super Bowl champ. Yeah, for sure.
My dad, I would say he probably would have won in a fight for sure. He was all about brawls, and he was a bouncer back in the day. He was fighting every day at practice, man. He was a tough-nosed guy. So
different times back then.
Yep.
He was a scary dude growing up. I can tell you that, man.
Yeah, I'm sure. With you five, I'm sure he needed to crack that whip.
Yeah, man. When he had to come home early, you better hide, and you better hope he doesn't come find you, because that was a bad day, man. So he was intimidating, man, and definitely a big dude, and definitely taught us the right things growing up.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's important to have those role models in your life. Have those positive influences that can kind of steer you in the right direction, because it's tough as a kid.
Yeah, man. Yeah, and looked up to our dad, and he definitely kept us on the right path, and to get all five of us on the right path is very impressive.
Yeah, that's very commendable.
I'm not sure how we did it, man, because it's a grind. Having three sucks. Or I don't say it doesn't suck. It's awesome, but it's a lot of work, and it's very, very hard to keep them on a straight path already at a young age, man. So 5 kids, 10 years apart, and he was able to really, both my parents, just keep us on the right path, keep us out of trouble, teach us the right values in life, and show us hard work, man. is what it really came down to. So very blessed to have amazing parents.
So out of all the brothers, who do you feel was able to like streamline the fastest, and who went through certain hits or went through hits harder and faster than out of all the brothers?
Man, so my brother Dan, who was 2 years older than me, was like this ultimate beast, man, in high school. He was like 6'5", 235 in high school, and was just an animal. But what really separated Rob was, man, he was just like out of his mind. We would always fight, right? And you always fight with your brother who was 2 years older than you. And Rob was the only one that was crazy enough to go after Dan, who was 4 years older than him, and try to fight with Dan. And Dan would just demolish him, man. And, and he'd get me involved too. And we just pin Rob down, and it was just boom, boom, Charlie horse, just unloading on him. And he'd just keep coming back for more. But I think just his mental toughness and just his toughness in general, man, just came from all those beatings that we gave him back in the day, man. And he'd always come back for more. But yeah, it was crazy growing up with five boys, man. And I think just all the competition bred us and took us to another level. But Dan was definitely the beast coming up, and then I think Rob was probably, man, it just the toughness and the drive was there, just trying to compete against us who were so much bigger than him at the time. And then he outgrew me, and now he's bigger than me. And we stopped fighting.
He's bigger than most people. He's bigger than most people. You can line him up against pretty much anyone that doesn't play on the line, and he's
Hey, except Shaq, man. He did that event with Shaq
the
other
that's
day.
wild.
Little kid.
Yeah,
like a little 17-year-old out there.
I mean, a dump truck looks small compared to Shaq.
Yeah,
So.
Shaq is the beast, man.
Yeah, for sure, man.
Rims down. I saw his rim tree.
Oh, that was unreal. Yeah, I saw that post. That was unreal.
Yeah.
That was epic. I wish I could have one of those. I need to put on maybe like 150 pounds though.
No, that guy's huge. I remember I went to the Shaq's Funhouse
Yep.
right before the Super Bowl, and I was there with Jenny, my girlfriend, and I was about to. They had this little football thing. It was like the whole circus event. They're doing little football tosses, and I go to throw the football. Literally, I see a huge hand, just grabs my hand with the football, yanks it out, and he grabs it and he throws it. He's like, stole your football. And I was like, holy shit. I was like, yo, it's Shaq. Yo, this guy's humongous. I was like, yo, I literally, that hand could have like eaten up my entire head. I was like, damn. I was like, this guy's huge. So yeah, man, in person, whole nother level, man. Whole nother level.
Shaq is Shaq, man.
Yeah, that was
big.
Yeah, that was great. What you and your brother, or what your brother and Shaq were able to do there, you know, and raise money. You really used their platforms for a positive thing in a time when people couldn't really get together. That was really cool.
Yeah, he got dunked on, and the rim ripped off too.
One of the few times I'm sure he's felt small.
Yeah, he's kind of just hanging back. But hey, man, I think he outshot Shaq, and I think that's why he ripped the rim off. So.
Yeah, getting a little feisty. But all right, Chris, where can people find you? On Instagram, on if you got a YouTube, whatever you got, drop the name of the Ice Shaker app.
Yeah, check me out. Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, whatever, man. At Chris Gronkowski. The company handle is at Ice Shaker Bottle, and then iceshaker.com. And then if you want to check out Stadium Blitz, it's stadiumblitz.com. And man, we got it all going. We got Gronk Fitness Products. If you want to check that out as well, it's gronkfitnessproducts.com. But just search, and you'll find a lot of action going down, man. We're everywhere.
Yeah, man. We want to say thank you again, one, for being on the guest on the podcast, and for supporting us. As we start building this thing out, it means the world to us. It really does. To have that vote of confidence from you.
And
thank
Chris, just one more thing. Something I like to always ask from our guests is, what's one super important piece of advice that you can give to all our listeners today that they can walk off with and start using and applying?
Man, I think we hit on this earlier, but man, lead with value. Don't just go in for an ask. Lead with value. It's kind of been the whole year's motto. So really care about people. Give them something they can use, and don't just do it just looking for something in return. Actually care, actually give them value, and it will come back eventually. And if it doesn't, man, at some point they might have told someone about you, and it might come back through different ways. But at the end of the day, man, just care about people, be a good person, keep hustling, lead with value, and you're going to live a successful life. That's really all it comes down to.
Guys, you heard it from Chris himself. Again, from both Josh and I, we truly appreciate your time, the energy, the love, man, and blessings, my dude.
Yeah, thank you so much for being on, man.
I appreciate it, man. Let's get a workout in soon.
Woo!
Hell yeah.